Hello, in this video I'm going to tell you what you need to know about the Ultra Space Wonders event and also give you some PvP insights, what is important about this event. A quick summary of the highlights of this event. Naganadel, you can evolve Poipole, the Ultra Beast Pokemon that we received at the start of this season. It gets to about 3500 CP, it's a Poison and Dragon type. But it's not really worth your investment. It's pretty attack weighted, so not great in PvP. And I think there are other better attackers for raids as well. Stakataka is in terms for Ultra League, Aggron's just better. Aggron has a better moveset as well. In Ultra League, it does get higher than Aggron, even though it does have a Mega Evolution. But its moveset still lets it down, so not really worth your investment as well. It's a pretty easy Pokemon to do in raids because it's a Steel and Rock type, so it has two double weaknesses to fighting and ground. It only spawns in raids on the Eastern Hemisphere. We'll get into that soon. Blacephalon, the Fireworks Pokemon, spawns in raids in the Western Hemisphere. This Pokemon is extremely fragile. It has higher tech than Mewtwo though, so it might have some purpose in raids, but generally not a very good Pokemon as well. Yeah, the event bonus, you get double the XP for beating raids. I guess this is to stimulate you to do these kind of raids, but I really wouldn't recommend spending a lot of passes in this. This is great to do with free raid passes though. Now, as for spawns and researches and everything, I recommend you look into Leakdog for that if you really want to know that. The star of this event, this show, is Mareanie, because Toxapex is a very good Pokemon for PvP. So this is the Pokemon we're going to take a look at. Just a quick note, if you are going out to grind for these Pokemon in this event, I would recommend putting on a Mega Evolve for Poison typing, because some of these Pokemon such as Tentacool, Stunky, Krogunk, and Skrelp, you want Excel Pokemon from those, because they are pretty good in Ultra League. As for the raids, on the Eastern Hemisphere you have Stakataka, on the Western Hemisphere you have Blacephalon, and this line actually goes through like a part of Spain and even like the UK. I believe East and West London have like different kind of raids. So yeah, but if you don't have one of them in your region, you can do the other one for your Dex entry with a remote pass. The good thing about Toxapex in this event is you will only need to grind one from Great League. It only gets to 1900 CP when you max it out, so you don't need it for Ultra League. And you also want the best stat distribution that you can possibly get. I will elaborate that later. What makes Toxapex exactly so good? It is a water and poison typing, pretty unique. I wouldn't say super good in this current meta, but it might change later. Right, it's the same as Tentacruel. Tentacruel is the Pokemon of this type you want for Ultra League. But Toxapex in Great League has way more bulk. You can see here that it has 400 more stat product. It is bulkier than Azumarill, it is less bulky than Umbreon, so a little bit in between there, but regardless, very respectable. The way I like to look at this, the higher the stat product, that usually means it has a higher defense and HP, and combined those two are the bulk of a Pokemon. So the higher stat product, usually the bulkier that Pokemon is. Toxapex does not have a very flexible moveset pool. It has two fast attacks, which are Poison Jab and Bite. Poison Jab is excellent, makes it a very good poison type attacker, and Bite is really only niche if you need it to counter ghosts in like a restricted format. Generally I would not suggest it though. Brine is its only water type coverage, and this is a horrible charge attack. It's pretty good in the main series, but here it is one of the worst charge attacks. It is cheapest charge attack though, and kind of necessary if you need some water type coverage. You can alternatively run Gunk Shot as well, go for a triple poison moveset. But I would recommend Brine because, you know, that's just a cheaper attack and got the coverage you might need. Sludge Wave already does the job of a good poison type attack that hits pretty hard. It's pretty efficient. Gunk Shot only hits harder and it's also almost about as efficient. Keep in mind that even though these attacks are pretty expensive, Toxapex has the bulk to get to them. So this moveset actually makes Toxapex a very balanced Pokemon. If it has like Liquidation, it may be a little bit too good. So, its role in the meta. Let's take a look at its good and bad matchups. Toxapex absolutely annihilates most fairy types. Carbink is one of the Pokemon that can do okay there, but still is not great because it also takes super effective damage from Brine. Azumarill gets annihilated. Superior gets annihilated. Pretty much all grass besides like Ferrothorn lose pretty hard to Toxapex. And then there's also other water types just because of its bulk. It's typing, because you cannot throw same type attack, water type attacks into Toxapex. It makes it pretty good against Feraligatr, Mantine, and Poliwrath. In fact, Mantine is such a good matchup, you win that with a shield down. That's how good that matchup is. And Poliwrath is a very manageable matchup. It can get a little bit dicey if they get a lot of Scald debuffs and they use shields, but generally a decent matchup. And then Abomasnow, also basically a grass type. So yeah, note how I didn't put Annihilate on there because since also a fighter. However, Annihilate also resists your poison jab, so it's a pretty even matchup. I would consider Cresselia without Future Sight also a good matchup, so Toxapex does have a lot of play there. Now, in terms of flexibility in its bad matchups, Toxapex sometimes is a little bit comparable to Bastiodon, just because it has some really unplayable matchups. Although in the sense as Registeel, Whiscash, Toxapex is dead weight here. You need, I believe, like an attack or defense point against Whiscash to win the 2-0 shields, which is insane. Gligar is probably one of the more playable because one dig doesn't knock out the Toxapex, but not a great matchup because Brine doesn't add up a lot, Poison Jab doesn't add up a lot. Lantern, you need a break point to win the 2 shield and you need to not shield 2 baits as well. Clodsire, your Poison Jabs are double resisted, it's not great. Their Earthquake obviously does way more. Charge Bug, you take super effective damage from electric type damage. It's actually a more playable matchup than you might think, just because it's sheer bulk and Discharge is not that strong of a charge stack. But generally, you don't want to be in there as Toxapex. Sableye is actually more playable because you can take Foul Plays and Shadow Claws, but the more shields are used, the worse this really becomes. I didn't put Skarmy on here. I personally don't consider Skarmy to be a hard answer. And the reason why, you will actually see in the battle soon. But Toxapex can take the damage just very simply. And it actually gets super awkward for Skarmy if they decide to go for Brave Bird at some point. Because if that gets shielded, Toxapex can flip it. So, what kind of IVs do you need on your Toxapex? I sorted them by tables. You can pause this if you want to take a look into it. But I'm just going to give my short recommendation that you don't really want any of these breakpoints. Because most of them are reached around 95 attack. And a good Toxapex has around 90 to 91 attack. So you're not going to reach any of these. These are also guaranteed breakpoints. So these are against like rank 1s. Like against a Magnezone Shadow, I mean, which you lose anyway. You probably will be fine with like 95 attack. But I'm going to elaborate soon why you want a high defense stat. It also, a high attack doesn't flip about anything. You can only flip the 2-1 shield against Lantern with 99 attack to guarantee it. So you don't want a high attack. The bulk points are interesting, and these can actually do something as well for you. A rank 1 Toxapex has 228 defense, so the bulk points for Guzzlord and Charge Bug, you need a pretty high defense for them. These are the only 4 that I found. Poliwrath, you can flip the 0-2 shield, which is pretty crazy. Guzzlord, you need an extremely defensive weighted. And even then, most Guzzlord aren't like the rank 1, so this is really an iffy bulk point to reach. I would not count on it. Chargebug can flip the 1 shields if you have a very high defense weighted, but high HP also helps with this. So rank 1 should also get close or win this even. Now, this is a list I made of matchups, particular matchups, that you win on a high stat distribution. This means that you want the highest rank that you can find, the best combination of defense and HP, and you can win all of these matchups, or negate some losses that a bad Toxapex would lose. It's a lot of them, and this is why I basically don't really have a specific recommendation of IVs. Just go for the best one you can get. That is my advice. So, now that you have all the information, I'm gonna do some showcase of Toxapex gameplay. First off, I want to give a shout out to these people for helping me out with some battles. It's basically like a GBL simulation where I asked them to play like Blind 3 Open Great League. And I also want to say, I thought I had a rank 260 Toxapex. I knew my Toxapex wasn't good. Turns out it was a rank 2650 something. So my Toxapex is not good. I definitely gotta play this event. But it still did a job. Let's take a look. My first battle, I lead Abomasnow into Magnezone. I really like Abomasnow and Toxapex core because Abomasnow covers like Whiscash and Gligar, which Toxapex really struggles against. You do get core breaken massively by Alolan Sandslash and by, what's the other thing called? Registeel. I'm gonna go for an Ice Wind here. Energy Ball would almost knock out this. Magnezone Jogs does shield it up, which is fortunate. He waits a little bit. I hate that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna shield this up because I think he wants to probably bait something out. Tries to catch, goes into Cresselia. Most Cresselia nowadays have Moonblast. But if you've seen the regional that Paula won in Stockholm, she ran Future Sight. So I'm hoping, I'm gonna go Toxapex. I'm hoping this Moonblast. Then this will make a very good matchup. Let's see. It's Future Sight. But you see, a debuff Future Sight doesn't even put me into the yellow just yet. Well, the side quests I have to do, unfortunately. I'm gonna shield this up because I have nothing for this Cresselia. Cresselia is a massive core breaker, unfortunately, at this point, because my Abomasnow doesn't really have a lot left either. And I need my Abomasnow later if he has like an Altair, which I kind of expect at this point. If there's a Grass Knot, it will do absolutely nothing on my very bad Toxapex. As you can see there, hang on easily. I will be able to get to a Brine on the Magnezone, but he doesn't go in with that. I tried to go for the Sludge Wave, but I'm not bulky enough there. This is a little bit tricky. He catches on the Magnezone, very good catch. Kind of as I expected as well. I'm gonna farm up to another Icy Wind, that's whatever. But this gets dicey, simply because it might now depend on getting a Mirror Shot debuff or not, because then 2 Stone Edge might not knock out the Altaria. It goes for the first Mirror Shot, it's a 30% chance, no debuff there. This is exactly why you want Clodsire often. When people start using Magnezone Altaria Core, Clodsire is your Pokemon to bring. It's so bulky, its typing is actually ridiculously good right now. Really only fears like Gligar and Whiscash. Unfortunately, those are on like almost every team. And then even Skarmy, like the Zero Shield's just not straight up not bad if they don't go for a Raid Bird. They go for an attack here. This has to be like the super duper Dragon Pulse. But it's a Sky attack, puts me barely into the red. I have an Icy Wind stored. This should win me the battle. So yeah, Toxapex basically there just as a damage response, just showing it's gonna take some hits. Maybe a better Toxapex may not have needed to shoot the future sight, but I don't know if that would have made much of a difference there. Next battle against Jox. He is about to take revenge on me. This is also Steel type, but this is even worse. And it only gets even worse. I'm playing Toxapex Double Dark this time. I think also a pretty viable combination, but not as much in this Whiscash meta anymore. I went into my hard answer there, because otherwise he throws like an Ice Punch in with the Alone Sandslash, and I have to shield that. He brings in... Well, this Pokemon I would still be very useless, so... this is looking very dire. I need a lot of energy on my Toxapex. The last resource add up a little bit more than I want to here. The thing about Toxapex is it annihilates Azumarill. It's not even close. You win with 5 shields down on Toxapex. Because you resist everything on Azumarill and you deal super effective damage back the whole time. Bulky on bulky Pokemon, you know that doesn't do a lot of damage. He makes a great undercharge here, very obnoxious. I just want to bring my Toxapex in and farm this down. But he brings in the Feraligatr, which I'm fine with, honestly. I'm just going to stay in. Hopefully I can pull a shield, but I honestly doubt it. And you'll also see another flaw of Toxapex here. Because when this Feraligatr gets to low HP, I cannot knock it out with a Brine. Brine is a bad charge attack. It's only very niche, and you see here, yeah, I'm going to go for Sludge Wave. I went over 100 energy there because I didn't exactly know if a Brine would knock out from here. It would not. So I throw Sludge Wave there, see what comes in. But it takes 65 energy, so I need 3 jabs now to get to my Brine, which is too long. If I can get to that Brine, and then he no shields, maybe that was a win condition. He still has a lot of energy on the Azumarill though, which comes in right now. My only win condition at this point might be to... I think even if I claw it down, he has 2 shields still, so it's very difficult. I think I actually can claw down before he gets to... I think one more claw would have knocked him out here, which I probably should have done. But didn't matter really. His Alone Sandslash would get to a charge stack. And then maybe it comes down to a catch. I don't know. Alone Sandslash is just horrible. There's just nothing that Toxapex can do there. It's a hard wall to some Pokemon. It's the RPS Pokemon. Hard loses, hard wins. Ice Punch will knock me out here, Shadow Sableye, and I'm gonna go for a Sludge Wave, which is double resisted. It definitely does less than Brine, but this was like, well, you got me. There you go. Actually did more than I thought it would. In this battle against Arnex, I'm gonna try the Toxapex plus Dugong Core, which is pretty weak to Lantern. Luckily, I'm not facing one here. If there was Lantern, I'd stay in. This is a very small Dragonite, and Toxapex hangs on pretty well here. As you can see, very bulky. I'm gonna go into Dugong because I expected this to be in the back. Maybe it was not super smart to swap out just yet, because maybe I could have pulled a shield from the Dragonite first, but if he didn't shoot that, I would have been in big trouble. Dugong is actually my better Pokemon here. I'm gonna shield up this Zap Cannon. I actually don't get debuff, which is great. Toxapex does nothing here. Poison Jabs are double resisted. Brine, a bad charge stack. You don't get knocked out by one Zap Cannon, but I mean, two knockouts, you might get debuffed. I didn't get here, which allows me to win the 1 shields, by the way, so that's great. Shield up Zap Cannon, doesn't debuff again. I'm the luckiest person in the world. Gonna go for another Drill Run right before his next potentially Focus Blast. And then I'm gonna go into the Toxapex. And he actually throws before I can launch my Brine. It's unfortunate. I want to show you how little Brine does here. But he goes for Focus anyway. Actually doesn't swap. He did swap. He caught on an island. That's fine. So this is not that great of a matchup too, because the Poison Jabs are resisted here. Against other fighters, Toxapex was always very fine. Luckily I have Altaria. He's not Switch Logs. This is my attack weighted Altaria, so it's a little bit fragile, but with all the energy that I have right now, it should be very fine. Shadow Ball comes through. I can farm down though. He will get to a Night Slash, which won't do enough. If he had 2 Ice Punch, definitely would have. Yeah, Altaria, Toxapex also makes a pretty decent core. Altaria usually pairs easily with other Pokemon. Gonna go for another Drum, make sure he doesn't catch. And then Dragonite should get Ice Shard down here. Absolutely no problem for Dugong. Dugong is just such a flexible Pokemon. And that's another game there. Next battle, also against Arnex. I'm having Altaria, Toxapex, Bastion. This probably as D-Gen as you can go with Toxapex. Altaria, win or hard lose a lot of leads. Toxapex trying to bait out like a Wish Catch or something. I bait out Giratina Origin. Imagine the audacity to use Giratina Origin against me. I'm going to take it though. Let's see how close I can make this, honestly. Shadow Ball shouldn't do a lot, but it's a pretty efficient attack, so you don't even see how much it does there. This Sludge Wave also should do like 30%. Actually, pretty efficient attack there. As you can see, put me pretty low. He's farming up more damage. Now he makes a mistake because he didn't throw before my next Brine. Now look at this. Brine coming through. Doesn't do a lot of damage. So he knows it's a Brine. Doesn't shield this. Not threatening. Actually, this is more than I thought it would. And this Poison Jab will knock out. Now, I can align my Bastiodon on their Skarmory. Man, I love Switch Advantage teams. Just so little skill needed. He just wins Switch and you win the game. Probably. If they have a core breaker like a Clot Sign in the back, would kind of suck. Let's see. Basti comes in. In the back is a Grass. Yeah, this is so over. Go-Goat is there. Go-Goat has Leaf Blade, Brick Break, so it's just, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. It's absolutely useless here. It's just going to, look, it's going to throw a Brick Break. This is already debuffed. Maybe twice at this point. It just does nothing. Defense drop. He tries to wait out the clock, but I get to another Sky Attack here to knock out the Go-Goat. And obviously the Skarmy has, like, nothing on a full Bastiodon, right? Skarmy is a little bit better. Now there's Steel Wing, but not on a full Basti, that's for sure. It was like low Basti, Skarmy can hang on, but not here. So, yeah, that's another game. In this next battle, I'm going to play a simple ABB strategy. Quagsire lead and 2 poison types in the back. This is kind of where I need the Skarm, but if they go for Sky Attack here, I actually tend to switch out at some point just to soak damage on Toxapex and bait out counter to it. See what it brings in. Brings in Wish Cache, so this is exactly the core that Toxapex kind of sucks against. Skarmy plus Wish Cache. I cannot swap out of this, because Wish Cache annihilates my backline. Luckily, it's Shadow Wish Cache, so the Aqua Tail do a little bit more damage. I'm actually going to shield this Scald. I think it won't knock out just yet, but almost. If he has like a Lantern in the back, I need to preserve my Quagsire. So, going to shield up. Great, I'm 2 shields down. I heckin' love that. Aqua Tail will knock it out. The shield comes back in. If he comes in with Scar, I probably swap out into the Toxapex just to soak up damage, see if he's on the counter. Also allows me to build up some energy here as well for the next Pokemon coming in. Let's see what he does here. Breakbird might put me into the yellow. I would not be surprised if it doesn't. Yeah, it barely does. In comes Altaria. I wish I have my full Toxapex, because this is my best matchup that I have here. Gonna go for a Sludge Wave. This will do actually a very good amount of damage. Toxapex wins the 1 and the 2 shits here regularly. This Brine would have been super useful because it would put him lower, and I need him to be lower. Now I gotta expend all my energy. I'm gonna go for the first Aqua Tail. It doesn't even knock out. Gonna go for another one, otherwise he fires a Sky Attack. It looks a little bit tough now. Aqua Tail come through. Skarmy comes back in. I'm gonna build to Aqua Tail then swap, because if he now Brave Birds, my Aqua Tail will knock out at some point. So he has to Sky Attack here. A Brave Bird won't knock out as well. Sky Attack, Tentacruel can hang on. It's not like super fragile. It's definitely not as bulky as Toxapex, but it's a very respectable Pokemon. I'm gonna go for Scald. Unfortunately, Tentacruel also has like expensive charge stacks. This is actually a huge debuff because now he has to Brave Bird to knock me out. And this actually might win me the battle because now I need to get 2 Aqua Tail on the Quagsire. Brave Bird knocks me out. I need 2 Aqua Tails, only 4 Mud Shots to get there. And Quagsire is a quick, derpy, and good Pokemon. Charge Stack Priority Tie on the Aqua Tail, and this should knock out because the Skarmy is 3 times defense dropped, so very good game. Yeah, you see that Toxapex just kind of sucks against Skarm Wish Cache core, which is pretty common. The last 2 battles will be against Nickname, a very good player from Poland, leading my Quagsire into Deoxys. I'm 100% shielding this because I may need my Quagsire always for like mud Pokemon. In comes a Lickitung. I don't exactly need Switch Advantage here, but it would be nice. I'm gonna go for Stone Edge here, farm up to another Aqua Tail, or sorry, another Stone Edge, and then go to Toxapex. Look at how much the Licks do here. Like nothing. I just want to get like a farm down on this, so whatever comes back in has to take energy for my Toxapex. Body Slam comes through, doesn't do a lot of damage. You'll see that my Brine, I'm gonna try to knock it out with a Brine. It won't do a lot of damage. It will not do a lot. In fact, this Lickitung is putting me pretty low. But again, Toxapex, the one Pokemon who can take all this damage basically. Body Slam puts me into the red. I still have like 40 energy, so it's kind of fine with me. If he comes with Deoxys, it's a little bit annoying because you can get a lot of energy off. That didn't knock out, by the way. He hard swaps here into the Guzzlord. And Guzzlord is a problem because Tentacruel also needs a lot of time to get to charge stacks. I have Poison Jab, which is a pretty good fast stack here. But Guzzlord with an energy lead. I have to get to Sludge Wave. I think I have Sludge Wave, right? Do I have Sludge Wave? Yeah, I have Sludge Wave. It's actually pretty clutch here. My opponent might think I have Acid Spray. Most Tentacle run Acid Spray. But I'm running Sludge Wave on this one. No reason, no idea why. Gonna go for the Sludge Wave. My opponent won't shield this because they think it's an Acid Spray or Scald. Both won't knock out. Boom. That heap of garbage knocks him out. Now I can get to a Scald here. I don't think his timer's up just yet. It almost is though. Scald will do a very good chunk of damage here. He might shield it actually. Yeah, it does the most damage. Gets the attack drop, and this forces my opponent to swap out later. I don't want to farm down entirely, so I'm gonna swap into the Quagsire now because it makes it difficult for him to catch an attack. In fact, if he throws Psycho Boost now, he has to switch. I would macho down the Licky Tongue, which he kept for me. Very nice of him. He resets his debuff by this, but I have an Aqua Tail loaded, and it should win me the game. Because even if he knocks me out here, even if he would take this attack, one Voice Jump would knock out his Deoxys. So, well played, good game. Next battle into Pal Hero Chaos. I have, again, Toxapex Double Dark. I tried Toxapex as a lead here, just to soak damage. This is a very bulky combination, by the way, Toxapex with Umbreon. Like, almost the bulkiest combination you can have in this league. He tries to catch... I don't know exactly what to do here right away, so I'm going to go into Umbreon. Sableye, yes, is fine here, but also not really, because I can't take a Scald very well, and especially because I'm so behind already. Because I'm so behind already, he gets the debuff, the attack drop before I can even launch my first attack, which sucks. This really sucks, because now I do way less damage than I needed to. You're gonna see in the end that these Scald debuffs are going to cost me. Maybe I also could have played cleaner, but let's see. Another Scald comes through. Umbreon, also as bulky as Toxapex, so we can just hang on here. Another attack drop. I think I can only get to one Charge Attack here, so I'm gonna go for a Last Resort, which does a little bit more than the foul play. And hopefully this thing is now in debuff in Farna range, but it's barely not. Because of those Scald drops, I now have to go 2 shields down. If I get debuffed here, it's even worse. Luckily, I don't. In comes Dragonite. He has 2 shields though. My Shadow Claws add up, but this Dragonite will definitely be able to get to a Dragon Claw. And then it really comes down to what's in the bag. I need to be Azuma or something, but then he would not have brought in the Dragonite. So I expect it to be something good against my Toxapex. Dragon Claw knocks me out. I should be able to knock this out in one attack. And then it comes down to what is in the bag, because I have a lot of energy here. So there is play maybe. Let's see what it is. Dragonite, Tentacruel, and Magnezone. Don't think there was a lot that I could have done here, to be honest. A very fragile core for my opponent. They were never going to shield the Tentacruel. But yeah, this is impossible to deal with at this point. The Tentacruel, me shooting up the Toxapex right away, because I was expecting maybe something like a Registeel or, well, not a Registeel, like an Azuma on the back. I know my opponent really likes water and fairy types. I shielded right away, and then Tentacruel was difficult to deal with, so well played. In game number 2 against Nickname, he decided to triple counter the main character. He's going to go with a Frostlass into Toxapex. This is not a bad matchup for either Pokemon, really. Shadow Ball is way more efficient than Brine is, though. So 2 Shadow Ball will knock me out here. Going to go for a Brine, and this does so little damage. In the 2 shields, this gets very close, but 0 shields, not even remotely. So he waits a little bit too long. Maybe he lags a little bit. He's actually going to lag a lot in this battle. Shadow Ball would knock me out, but I'm going to go into the Goodra now. I want to bail like an Azuma if there's one. He's trying to get to an Avalanche. Doesn't get there. Let's see what comes in. It's the Clodsire. Yeah, he's standing still a little bit here. He's unfortunately lagging. I'm not sure if it will matter if you see what his backline is. I'm going to go for what I thought was an Aqua Tail is a Muddy Water, which doesn't do a lot. I haven't TM'd my Goodra yet, it seems. I do get the attack drop. This is all skill, of course. This was all meant to be. And because he lagged so much, I actually get to another Muddy Water, which kind of sucks for him. Yeah, he has to shield that. Now he's 1 shield down, 1 Pokemon down. Almost has nothing on this. This is a very bad swap by me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see what Toxapex can do in the back against his backline now. Lets that go. Brine knocks it out. In the back is a Charger Bug. He's got to have to shield the Sludge Wave. This would do a lot of damage, actually, to Charger Bug. I would say about 45% or something. So he does shield up, respects it. But Toxapex and the Dragons, a pretty good combination. There's about nothing that really core breaks that. I think Duo comes the closest, but Toxapex has very good play against that. And then I should be able to get to a Body Slam here. This might knock out the Charge Bug, and if not, should almost knock out to the point I can Dragon Breath down. So, yeah, that is a good game. So, that was my showcase of the Toxapex. I hope the information was useful to you. I definitely got to catch a new one. Luckily, there's a Spotlight Hour on Tuesday, so I can catch a lot of them. Hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.